Yo, I forgot to tell y'all. So I went inside the flea market today, right? And I grabbed a little backpack. I don't know where I said it at. And I also grabbed the iron, this heavy duty old school iron. Now this iron was when I went inside the flea market, it had a sign up there that said everything today is 70. Everything in the store is 75% off today, right? And so I grabbed like a little backpack and I asked the lady. I said, "How much is the backpack?" And she said it wasn't no price on here. And she said it was $7 with 75% off. I don't know, something like $1 or something, whatever. And then the iron was like $9.75. And she said, "Oh, $5 for the iron, right?" And I knew that was not 75% off because 50% off is half of that, right? Which would make it half of that. And then the would make it half of $9.75, which would be what, like four or something like that, right? And so $4 and some change. And so 75% off should have been way less than that, right? And I just had to say, she charged me $5 for it, which I didn't mind. She could have just said, "Well, everything here's that, but I want that for this." But it wasn't neither that. It was 75% off, and that was period. But what's crazy is, it was something else in there that's $30. And I asked the woman, I said to the guy that was stalking, right? I asked him, I said, "How much is he?" He said, "Man, I don't even know," right? And so the woman overheard me and him talking, and she gave me the price for it, right? And so I said, "Man," I said, "I always been good at like English and science and social studies." And I said, "Science got something to do with math, so I don't know how I'll be good at that." I said, "But more so like science projects, right?" And she was like, "Understood." She said, "I've always been good at math and horrible at the other subjects." She said, "Everybody have their strengths and their weaknesses, right?" And everybody in the store can hear us because it was only like 5 people in the store, including 2 of the women who was running the store. And so when I got up there, they overheard that conversation, and she figured that we're going to charge her $5 for the iron instead of 75% off, right? And I watched her, and I said, "I'm going to just see here if she be honest," right? Yo, she charged $5 for the iron, $1 for the book bag. And I said to myself, wow, these be the same people. She said, when I went to leave out the store, she said, "Tell other people about us, like that, right?" And I said, "Girl, I seen a couple other things that I wanted to get." I said, "But I didn't drive down here. I caught me a ride." So I said, "I want to get more things, but, I couldn't carry all that stuff." And she said, "Oh, okay, right?" And I said, "Well, I'll be sure to tell others, right?" But I thought to myself, why would I go, if you just cheated me in my face, right? Because you felt like there was a weakness within me. Why would I bring other people to give you business, right? And I said to myself, these same people be behind the scene praying for God to bless their business. And God would send one of his people in. I keep saying this. And they would jip them. And every time I got something to say, the video cuts, but it's okay. But I was saying to myself, like, these are the same people that be behind the scene calling on God to help their business to flourish. And they're not flourishing, right? And I said it's crazy because there's this flea market. Next door to that is a Dollar Tree. Next door to that, down some, is a nail shop. And down from that is 2 other flea markets, right? All in the same plaza, as well as a few other things. But the 2 other flea markets, they're flourishing. And this other flea market, they're not flourishing. And see, I used to work for a company, and I would have to drop off packages to these other flea markets. So it's been times where I went inside these other 2 flea markets, and they gave me deals on stuff, right? I'm at work, and I'm like, I ain't even supposed to be shopping, but I'm getting stuff. And I'm like, "What's this? And what's that?" And they're like, "Oh, And it's been times where they had sales, and the other side of the store might have not been on sale, but other parts was. And I done grabbed something, them people done gave it to me, right? And they're flourishing. But the people down at this other place that I never went inside of is failing. They're a failing business. And I said to myself, me and this lady had this conversation about math and our strengths and weaknesses with what subject, right? And she was telling me how she was struggled in social studies and English. And I told her how I was strengthened in those areas, but I sucked at math. And she was like, and she was strong in math. So she gave me the price of what it was that I was asking for, right? I originally asked the guy, but she ended up answering because he didn't know. He was slow to answer, like, oh, shoot. But anyways, I was kind of picking at him too because I knew that it was weird. He was a weird encounter, right? And that's all I'm gonna say. But when I got up there to this counter, the 2 women up in the front that was running the store, they overheard me and this woman talking, and they figured that they were going to play on the fact of what I said about I kind of struggle more at math, right? They tried to, but we got Siri now, right? So all you got to do is say, "Hey Siri, what's 75? What's 85? What's da 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 da," right? And the lady gave me an easy way to know, right? And so she helped me, right? I'm happy I didn't go to Siri. I'm happy I said something because she then showed me how to solve the problem and how to go about solving these issues, solve whatever was the problem I was trying to solve with the math. She gave me an easy way. And so when I went up there, it was something that didn't have a price tag on it. She said, "It's $7. We're going to give it to you for $1. The iron had $9.75, and half off, we know it's like $4 and some change, right? And so how you charge me $5 for a $9.75 iron and it's 75% off? It's not making sense. But something said, don't say anything. This is the reason why their business is failing. They're dishonest, right? And on the way out, they said, "Make sure you tell people about us. Let us know. Let them know that we're here. Let them know that we got this 75% sale going on." And da 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 da. I'm going to finish up with saying this. My mind state is, why would I send people inside of here? Potential vulnerable souls. Potential elderly. Potential people who's handicapped, special needs. Right? Because I encounter different people on a daily. And it's like, why would I take and say, even having a conversation? Because I have people confide in me. A lot of times when I go out, people talk to me about different things and all this stuff. We talk about shopping. We talk about their life. We talk about all kind of stuff. And so it's like, why would I knowingly send people into somewhere where they could potentially get gypped? You was very dishonest in my face. And when I left out of there, I'm pretty sure they thought that, oh, she don't know, she just got gypped, right? Stupid black person. Her, this black person, they're stupid, right? The stereotype. That's what I seen in there. And you're telling me to send you business. But yet you're praying to the God you serve, because it ain't my God, honey. And telling God, asking God for business. And I know that that's what they were asking for, because the way she was, and what she was saying, she was very sincere in that though, right? But you're not sincere in your prices. You're jipping people in their face. You got a big old sign that says 75% off everything in the store, and you're jipping. And the fact that it was meant for that to go just the way it did, that's not ironic, right? That's not just by coincidence that all that went the way it was. It went, including the PI that was standing in the back, that was positioned before I got there, right? And so this same PI ended up following me on over to the other store and having a whole, for some reason, he was just interested in a conversation with moi, right? And so, I just want to say, be honest in your business. We, as people, we do make mistakes, but that there was not a mistake. But what's even sadder is that the woman behind her was verifying the wrong that she was doing. And they wonder why their store is just becoming more and more fuller and nothing is leaving. Not even their own kind is coming. And so, when you get up, just have a little bit of integrity, right? We all make mistakes. None of us is perfect. But by doggone golly, knowingly, please, if you know. They say you know better, you do better. Please have just a little bit. Have a little humane in you. And you never know who's watching. Sometimes we even forget what we pray for. And God will send someone. And just because it don't look like what you think it's supposed to look like, you never know in which the way the test is coming. And that's even including me. I have failed multiple tests. But that's not one, my dear, that I have failed, right? More like the walk of life, right? More like your ex-boyfriend keep coming back around and you just won't let it go, right? And God be telling you, like, what are you doing, ma'am? What are you doing? Don't answer that phone call. And it's like, press go. I need just see what it want, right? I'm past that now, but I'm saying, I'm not perfect. By far. I'm not perfect by far. But that one right there, no. 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 Y'all have a blessed one. Be safe, be careful, and pass your test, please. Mwah.